Well, we're at MJ's Diner. MJ stands for none other than. There's Mary Jane. No, there's Mary Jane. Hi, Mary Jane.
You're not doing this on the.
I'm.
You're not taking pictures of me.
I am. Am I allowed to?
Oh, yeah. You told me I'd wore my makeup.
Well,
I'd have
you
made an
don't need
effort.
it that way. You really don't. Wishaw is a long way from Nashville.
It certainly is, yeah.
Yeah, it's what brought you here. There'll be a romance
It'll be
involved,
true
I'm
love,
sure.
yes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And your diner, you've had it. It's in the High Street, and is it the High Street?
No, it's Kirk Road in
Kirk
Wishaw.
Road, just off the High
Right
Street
off
in
the
Wishaw.
cross.
And how long have you had the diner open?
Since October last year.
Yeah, and you cook all the stuff yourself?
I cook a lot of it myself,
Yeah.
but I've got two really good cooks in right now. And my brother's actually coming over to be a cook here as well. So
Great.
he learned from the same person I did, so he'll be just like me cooking.
Wow. So food must be, I mean, it's huge in the south of Southern America, of course.
Yeah.
But as big in your family as rock and roll? Can't be.
Do you know, it kind of is, and as much as that my grandmother cooked all her days, even when she was 93, I think, her last
Yeah.
job that she had, and it was cooking for a hunting club, and she fed something like 40 men every day for like 6 weeks while they were on their hunting trips.
Right.
So food's a big part of
Yeah.
my life growing up.
Yeah. And family get-together is all about food.
It really was. I mean, in the South, the food is actually just a big part of the culture. It's a way of connecting with folks.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really personal kind of thing too. Everyone had their own special recipes,
Yeah.
and they would guard them with their life.
Yeah.
You know. So
How about music? Does that come into it so
It-
much?
it does.
Because it's professional in your family, though.
Yeah, but where I grew up, we would sometimes you'd all get together, and basically people would get their guitars and stuff, and you'd go on the front porch or the back porch, whichever it may be, and you would sit and you'd sing for hours.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't. We had 2 television channels, so you
Yeah.
had to kind of make your own entertainment.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and there was a lot of music in the country. It just
Yeah.
it seems like country folk seem to appreciate it a bit more.
Of course, we met through your mother, and you coming to Belgium Festival about 10 years ago, Linda Gale. Linda Gale is daughter of none other than Jerry
sister.
Lee's sister of Jerry Lee. I'm sorry.
She'll be flattered. I'm going to tell her you said so. She'll like that.
So yeah, what was it like growing up in the shadow of a rock and roll god?
To be honest with you, I didn't really appreciate what influence my uncle or my mother actually had on the rocking scene until I
Yeah.
actually came to Europe.
Really?
Back in I think it was 2007, I was on the road with Uncle Jerry, and I remember in France in particular, it kind of moved me to tears because the audience went completely and totally crazy. It was all ages of folk too. It was teenagers, and then there were people that were up in their 60s and 70s, and
Yeah.
they had this security that was lined up, and these people just like literally just went through them and were trying to climb up on the stage, and I saw them, and you could see the excitement on their faces. It was really moving.
Yeah.
You know,
How old were you?
that was 2007, so
Yeah,
I won't
it's
tell you
not
how old I
that
was. A
long
few
ago,
years
yeah.
ago, but I won't
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
how old I was. But
Yeah.
it was kind of an
Is that
experience.
right?
'Cause I knew he was famous. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I knew he had hit records. I knew everyone said he had.
They made a
influenced rock
biopic
and roll.
about it, for God's sake. It was,
Alright. But you sit there though, and you think about it, and you don't realize how that affects people personally. Because
Yeah.
to me, he was my mom's brother, my uncle.
yeah,
Whereas for everyone else, he was a legend.
yeah, yeah,
You know, so it was
Yeah.
different. And seeing that actually was
Yeah.
quite profound for me.
yeah.
It kind of made me appreciate things in a different way, if you will.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to think of it 2 different ways. At some point, you catch up with the fact that everybody, he's your uncle, but he's something to everybody
Yeah,
as well.
something.
Yeah.
That's the thing is
Yeah.
that he's influenced a lot of people, and
Yeah.
he's got a lot of fans all over the world.
Your music, you sing great. I have to say, the gig last night was fantastic, and I knew that from being with your mother and your sister as well in the Lewis 3. You're here in Glasgow. You got a Glasgow band now as well.
I've got actually 2 bands. I've
Oh,
got
okay.
the Mary Jane Lewis and the Starlight Boys, which is like the R&B kind of Laverne Baker, Ruth Brown kind of sound.
Nice.
And then you saw last night half of the Low Men.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's more of what you sing last night, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. We have more original stuff than we did last night, but we need to actually be all together to make that
I
right.
see. So you're doing mostly covers and standards, and great. Some Patsy Cline, and throwing in some rock and roll stuff, but mainly country music last night.
It was, yeah. There was one rock and roll number, which was one of my original tracks, Mean Mean Man, and then
Yeah.
they did Dance With Me, which was an original track.
Yeah. So records coming, will there be?
Oh yeah, for the Low Man, we're working on that and want to have it out by the end of the year.
Excellent.
But we want to have mostly originals on that.
Yeah,
So it's taking some time to actually get there because we want the songs to be right.
yeah, yeah.
So we're
And
getting
you're
there.
recording that locally as well.
Yeah.
Great.
We record in Motherwell. It's a great studio there called The Foundry.
Yeah. Scotland's suiting you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm right at home. It's home now to me. So.
Yeah. So there's a similarity between the south and the south. I'm told there's a similarity between the south and
I
Scotland.
think so. I think we were talking about this last night. I feel like the South of America wanted so desperately to keep its own identity and fought so hard to do that.
Yeah.
And has always been the kind of like the stepchild of.
Yeah,
the States,
in
if
bed
you
with
will.
an elephant. I think it was Pierre Trudeau said that about Canada and America.
And I think Scotland's very much the same, is that they really struggle
Yeah.
and you really want to keep your identity, and I respect that and I appreciate it because I think
Yeah.
it's such an interesting history and such an interesting culture. I want to see it preserved, if you will.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the people here. I think they're
Yeah.
very much like the people I grew up with, down to earth.
Great. Well, we're very pleased to have you around. And it's great to have your music around as well. So much looking forward to the gigs over the next week while.
Me too, darling, and looking forward to seeing you at Belladrum.
Belladrum Festival this weekend.
Yeah.
See you then, darling.
And thank you, darling.
Thank you.